Cunningham, a true legend in our midst now, joining us on Trojans Live. The game has started too, by the way. You can watch that on Pac-12 networks. We'll keep you abreast of any touchdowns or scores or big plays or anything that goes on. But, man, who's made plenty of big plays. You know, a year from now, Sam, you're going to be the hottest interview out there because the Trojans are going to be ready to play Alabama again, and everyone's going to want your number.
Yeah, I know everybody told me I need to stay alive till then.
You're going to be flipping the coin, I bet you. We'll see you at the 50-yard line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, they already told me I'll be an honorary captain, so that's cool. It'll be fun to be a part of it because of the historical deal of it, you know what I mean? Because it was night and day from what it was then to what it is now. And you know, a lot of the kids to this day don't even understand that. They just go play, expect to be recruited by the major programs in the nation, and that includes South, West, Midwest, wherever. You know, they don't even understand at one time they couldn't have been recruited by them or got an offer. You know, I mean, my senior year in high school, I actually got a letter from the University of Alabama, but you know, I'm not leaving Santa Barbara, California to go to Tuscaloosa. It's just not you know, it's just not moving.
What was cool this year was, we did a whole thing for Black History Month, and it was great having you be a part of it. If people haven't read it, go to uscbhm.com. And, it was cool getting your story. That story tends to be told from Alabama's perspective almost. I mean, it's told sort of from Bear Bryant's perspective, and this one really was your perspective on the game. And people forget you were just a kid trying to make plays and trying to get a spot on the team. You were like one of these guys out here saying, hey, I don't even know if I'm going to play. That was your mindset going in the game.
I was just competing, and I knew that if I got an opportunity to play and I didn't do well, that I wasn't going to get an opportunity to play again because that's how competitive it was at that time. So I, not knowing whether I was going to play or not because I was the second string fullback, when I got the opportunity, it wasn't like spring ball, the spring that before I got to play in that game. We were physical and competing, and we finally went. I see this hole that looks like a mile wide, and okay, if you don't run through this and score, you're really not going to play. So it's from a perspective of a young man who had never played a down of varsity college football in his life. So for me, it was special because of that, and then the historic thing over time it makes it even more special.
Sam, you played on some great teams, obviously, and going back even to spring ball, in your memories of spring ball, there's a lot of changes since that point, but give us your view of what you thought about spring ball. Obviously, in your day, it was a little bit different from the standpoint of there was a lot of guys that could play the position, and so the competition was highly fierce. Where even today, it's not that when we look at our depth chart, we don't know every single starter, but we should have a good feel. It was a little bit different back in your day, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because as back then, as a freshman, you were the scout team. You spent the whole year as a scout team. You didn't play, you didn't travel with the varsity, you didn't do none of that. You didn't have opportunity to play in the Coliseum on Saturday afternoon. So we took a beating. I mean, my freshman year, I practiced against the Wild Bunch every day. So, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's a healthy situation.
We got slapped around a bit, and then when we tried to answer back, then the coaches told us that we can't put no starch in it. So, so that first spring was special because all the guys that had misused me in the fall, I had a piece of tape with their numbers, the ones that hadn't left.
Right.
And so that was our opportunity to go out and compete, you know what I mean, and get in the rotation and do whatever it is. And it was physical. It wasn't, not taking anything away from what they do now, but that's when you found out what you had as a coach in the program, what kind of players, because you kind of know when you recruit them and you hope that they fulfill the potential, but in spring is when you really find out what's going on,
You were famous for diving over that pile, and I'm thinking if you had just turned around when you dove, you could have been a high jumper. That's what your nephew does here.
Yeah, well, I did actually high jump in high school, I long jump.
So it's your genes. It's not. You
not
take
random.
credit for that.
No, I'm not taking credit for anything. Because I couldn't high jump as high as he could if they gave me a step ladder. But yeah, but I did have the ability to jump. I played basketball and, football and ran track. So.
But what do you think about another generation of Cunninghams now starring at SC?
I love it. He. What I enjoy about it is this is where he wanted to come, and he got that opportunity. So now, it's his journey to do what he can do. You know what I mean? And I kind of stay away because I don't want to. It isn't about me. It's about him. And so I let him do it, and I just talk to him and listen to him and have fun watching him, and then hopefully if he does well, then his younger sister will come.
Now you're recruiting.
Yeah. Well, I hope that's not a violation, but
it's all in the family.
Yeah.
Sam, one thing that has changed, or we're seeing a shift, is the size of the running backs these days. Back when you played, of course, you were being a bigger back, Ricky Bell, bigger back. A lot of backs in those days were big backs and had a lot of success. These days, we're seeing a lot of scat backs in a lot of offenses. Not only in college but in the NFL. Is there room to go back to what things used to be, or are we seeing a shift that's gonna?
I think the shift happens because the offenses are different. There's not a lot of teams that run the power offenses, and that big backs are, don't get me wrong, there are big backs that can do this similar things that little backs can do. As a big back, I used to watch the little backs and try to work on some of the stuff they did. It looked a little odd, but right. But if I worked on it long enough, I actually found my way of doing it and had the ability to do that. But it's just the evolution of the game. But there's always a spot for a big back. Marshawn is a big back in a medium-sized body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just what your heart and your personality is. You know what I mean, and how you go about it. But change is change. That's what happens in football, baseball, basketball, whatever sport.
Sam Bam Cunningham, one of the all-time best to do it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming back for the spring game.
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate you joining us on Trojans Live. When we come back, looks like we're going to have two current players as our next guests. We are live here at the Coliseum on the Beast.